Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Ultradyne UD7. We're going to be talking about the price point and what makes this different than all the other chassis you see on the wall behind me. So let's get straight into it. So in the world of precision rifle, there are a ton of options out there, and most chassis you're going to see are going to be tailored for PRS shooters. And what that means is something that is very rigid, very full featured, and that can easily get you up to around the 20+ pound weight range. And that's pretty atypical, whether we're talking about MDT, XLR, or any of the other big chassis makers out there. For precision rifles, we tend to use that formula because it works very well. Well, let me introduce you to the Ultradyne 7, and it is actually made to do something a little bit different. Now, before we get into that, I want to thank our channel sponsors, Utah Airguns. Not only are they one of the best airgun retailers out there, but they also sell a bunch of precision rifle stuff. We're talking about Armageddon gear bags, bipods, tripods, optics, thermals, I mean everything under the sun that you can think of that's going to help you in the way of precision rifle shooting. They actually carry it, they ship really fast, and they have very competitive prices. So if you haven't checked them out before, even if you're not into air guns, it is worth going and giving them a look. This is the UD7. They make it in a UD3, UD5, UD7, and that basically is a difference in the foreign length here. You see this has 7 M-LOK slots. The 5 would have 5, the 3 would have 3, and you can shave some weight there. Obviously, I went to 7 because this, for me, is a nice hybrid chassis, a do-all chassis, you could say, but really a full-featured chassis that kicks down some of the weight, and that's really the difference here. The Ultradyne chassis is not designed to be a 20+ pound PRS rig when you are done with it. It's designed to give you all of the things you like about a chassis without all the weight. And you can see even with a bipod on here, I can just grab this guy with a couple of fingers, and I mean, this thing is light, but it is very stiff. Now, is this the lightest thing out there? No, of course not. You can go carbon fiber, you can pay $1,500, $2,000 and get something very, very light. But this strikes a good balance between cost and effectiveness and being lightweight. So I was looking for a chassis that both my daughters and my wife could use, something that would be full featured. So when we say full feature, we're talking about the integrated ARCA you're seeing here. I'm talking about the M-LOK. I am talking about one solid piece of aluminum that's going to give this rigidity. I want adjustable cheek riser. I want adjustable length of pull. And I want it to accept traditional style grips, like AR style grips. That way I can run ergos or whatever I want. And it's also worth noting that this does have an adjustable mag catch, which is very, very important for precision rimfire, which is what we do here. So we can talk about this inside all day, and I can show you the features, but we really need to come out here and shoot this. And it's still the same Bergara track setup. And we're just gonna run some targets and see how the chassis feels overall. Super comfortable. It is pretty light. Easy to move around. And overall, it feels great. I mean, it feels like every other chassis. Obviously, there's a bunch of weight savings in here. We already talked about that a little bit, but you can see how slim the fore end is here, though it does sit very well on a bag. It's still on the Game Changer just fine, but ultimately this had to be light enough for me to want to take it and do other things with it. This is not meant to be a PRS chassis. They made this to fit a different niche, to get the things like the integrated ARCA rail, to have the stiffness of a chassis, the modularity of having the M-LOK and night vision bridge, and for it to not weigh 20 pounds when you were done with it. So for me, for my wife to shoot this, for my daughter to shoot it, Now, it is very easy to move around. Don't see a problem with someone like my daughter or my wife shooting this, and we're gonna get them on this gun here in a minute. Well, yeah, feels pretty dang good. Now, as we talked about everything there, we kind of went over a lot, but this basically gives you all the features of a chassis, but weighs much, much less. And I will post kind of those stats above me. And you can get into this fully set up, minus the bipod, but under $1,000. You can get into this well under $1,000. And the UD7 is going to be the more expensive one, but for people in my boat, I think that you would go with UD7. Now, there are a bunch of other options. This is their grip, as you can see here. It is hollow and it is extremely lightweight. They have their bag rider. Now you can get the steel version if you need to balance this out a little bit better. Because as you put some heavier rifles in this, it is going to get nose heavy. So you can add that steel bag rider to the equation. And also, they do sell, of course, external weights. And being M-LOK, you know, basically any external weight is going to work. They also make a night vision bridge, which is very important because I think a lot of people may use this as a night hunting rig, a coyote, or a varmint rig. So as far as adjustability is concerned, you're looking at the adjustable cheek riser, which is actually also something that's going to allow you to adjust length of pull. But as you see here, this comes all the way up or down, depending on what you need to do. And much like an XLR chassis, this piece and the buttstock piece are separate. This tube screws into this, but most of them are adjusted length of pull where they screw into the back of the chassis here. Now, to keep this rigid, this screws all the way in and you don't have to mess with that. You simply remove this rear screw and you pull out your adjustable cheek riser, and not sure if you can see it, but in there are actually different slots so you can move this forward and backwards on here as well. But once those are out, then you can just simply screw this in. So if I was going to have my daughter shoot this, then we could shorten this length of pull just by screwing this guy all the way in. And once you get it there, there's a groove here in the top, very easy to reset. Slip that guy in place, reinstall this screw, and then you're going to be able to set your cheek riser height. And once you snug that down, it is ready to go once again. So a lot of good things going on here, but nothing is ever perfect. So one good thing is I do like to see the full length ARCA here. I like to see that extend all the way out the front. That way you can jettison bipods. It is really annoying when you get a chassis and you're running a bipod and it has some sort of stop there, like permanent stop, that the ARCA doesn't go all the way through. Because then you can't jettison, and you've got to unsecure it, and that is much faster if you're running that in state, or you just need to get rid of a piece of equipment. I really enjoy that part of it. One thing I am not a huge fan of, and this is mostly going to be for precision rimfire, is this ARCA. I wish it extended all the way back to here, and you can see here the ARCA stops right there. And my only gripe with that is when you need mag protection, and the case is for precision rimfire, you usually need some sort of mag protection. They don't like to be pushed up into a bag and have that magazine flex back. That will cause feeding issues. So if this ARCA extended all the way back here, you could run some sort of bag stop. So I've got the gray outs bag stop here, and if we were to install this and run a magazine, you can see how far forward that is. And the problem with this, if you're going to run the setup and you need something like this, most of them don't come any more rearward than this. Is when you get this on a bag, I'll tip this up so you guys can see it. Now your balance point has to be way further forward. You have the mag protection here, but your balance point needs to be all the way out here. So if they extended that, I think it would make this a little bit better. And I am being extremely nitpicky here. And in all fairness, they did not make this to be a PRS rig. And that's kind of what I'm basing this off of. But overall, I've seen a few videos on these, and it's really hard to show this on video, how light this is and the fit and finish, but hopefully the close-ups are doing it justice. I mean, this thing is finished out very, very, very nicely, and I think you can get into this for around $700 and change. And to get a full-featured chassis like this with M-LOK, integrated ARCA, adjustable mag catch here, adjustable length of pull, cheek riser, on something that feels very high quality, that has options, that's not going to be too heavy for whatever you're trying to do. A very good all-around chassis. Really liking what they're doing, and I think eventually they're going to come out with a more PRS style chassis. But for now, I have used this for about a month. I really enjoy it. This will go back into circulation. My daughter and wife will continue to use this, and I think very successfully. And outside of that one nitpick of that ARCA, I wish it just came back in a little bit further. That's really the only thing bad I have to say about this. And that's being really nitpicky. But overall, a minimalistic design, meant to do something. I think it does it very well. So I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you on the next one.